So I wanted to show you just an overview or a quick little tour of what the secondary template is going to look like. Your lead teachers have been working hard on coming up with a template that we felt would be beneficial both for teachers, students, and parents, just so that all stakeholders can easily find the resources that they need. So inside of your class, the template itself will have a folder for the week that we're in. It'll have a folder for class information, a folder for previous weeks so that students can find work from previous weeks. And then there will be some hidden folders or some unpublished folders that are more for your benefit. The students won't be seeing these ones. So future weeks and units will be for you. So I'm going to go through each one of them. I'm actually going to skip what the week folder looks like just for the moment. Inside of class information, this is just something that gets pulled in from the template, and so it'll be the same inside of everyone's classroom. However, you can feel free to edit this, modify it, add to it, whatever you choose to. This is just general information that we thought would be helpful for students and families. So immediately you have a link to Google Meet. This also, the icon is hyperlinked inside of the directions are hyperlinked, and then there'll be a place where you can put in your code that you use with your students, okay, your nickname. Then we just simply put in the schedule and the lunches. Those will vary depending on whether or not you pull in the middle school or the high school template, of course. And then at the bottom we have our academic reporting. When are the grading periods and what is the grading scale that we use? Okay, so class information is pretty basic. Just a reminder that to get back, you can either go to the breadcrumb trail up at the top, or you can just use this little arrow to get back one step. So that's class information. Inside of previous weeks, that's just going to be where we would move, and mine is not updated. This was back when we were really trying to work on getting this this template solidified, so you can see it's been a while. But previous week students could just go in to find old assignments if they needed to. Inside of future weeks, you'll find a folder for each quarter. So for most of you, you won't be starting to use this until the third or the fourth quarter. So you would expand it, and you could find there is a folder for each week between now and the end of the school year. And inside of each one, there's a folder for each day as well. And then units, I threw this one in here for you guys. You don't need to use this, but there was a lot of discussion back and forth as to the best way to organize things. As teachers, we tend to think about things in terms of units that we're in, and that's how our textbooks are structured, that's how our curriculum is structured, as what unit am I in? And so for our purposes, we prefer units. But for parents and for students and for teachers who are doing working with Chapter 15 students, or they're working with students doing some push-in or pull-out with those students, everyone else tends to look at things in terms of dates. Okay, the student was not here on Monday. What did you do on Monday? And so we are trying to organize things in a way that's going to be easiest for for all stakeholders, really. And so we're going to kind of do a combination of a few different things. So we'll come back to that units folder in just a moment. Inside of each week, depending on which of the two templates that you pull in, one of the templates just simply has the week and nothing inside of it. So it would have had, January 18th through the 21st listed, but when you opened up the folder, nothing would have come in when you imported the template. And you could just add in your own content. Or we have them also broken down by day. So this one that I had pulled in was broken down by day, and then I renamed them. We heard from several teachers that it would be beneficial to not only have the date on there, again, for parents and students and everyone who needs to look at this that's not the main teacher of that course. The dates are important for them, but for the teacher, the unit was important. Whether you just put the unit, or whether you put the unit in the lesson number, or whether you describe what's in there, this portion of it, everything after the date, is more for your purposes. So you can choose whatever you want to name that. Inside of those, then, each day, there would be the assignments that they would be completing for that day. Notice up top that we also have an agenda slide put in here. So we have, for years, always had an agenda available for our students each day when they come in. And so this is just one example of how you could do an agenda slide. If you'd like ideas or you would like templates available to you, I have lots that we can pick from. So just let me know, and we can customize something specific for your classroom and the theme that you like to use inside of your classroom. I'd be happy to help with that. So you see that inside of the folder, the 18th through the 21st, the students are going to see the most recent day first. So January 21st, these would be the items that they would be completing for that day. They can then scroll through to find the 20th, the 19th, the 18th, etc. Okay, and so everything for the week is still there, but I'm always putting the current date on top of the slide deck. So if I jump over into the Google Slides, what I mean by that is my very first slide is January 21st, the 20th, etc. Whatever that top slide is going to be, that's the one that students will see first when they open up that folder. Okay, so as I want to change what's in here, I would just simply list it in my Google slide presentation. Okay, and I'll show you how to embed all of these items, how to import the template and embed in a separate video. This one I just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview as to what the layout would be for the template that's been chosen. So this agenda, I chose to put it into the actual week folder. I could have put that agenda right here on the first page as the top item here, but I feel like for students to look at it here and then jump into the folder, they would be forgetting some of the items. It's completely up to you as to where you choose to put your agenda slide, but it is going to be something that we will have available for all students in the materials section. So one thing that I forgot to mention at the very beginning is that we do want all secondary teachers to set their landing page, meaning the first page that the student sees when they enter your course. We want your landing page to be the materials page, not the updates page. So if you're not certain as to which is the landing page for your course, you could go to course options and go down to the edit privacy or course settings, and inside of there at the very bottom of the page it'll tell you what your default landing page is, and so we want everyone's to be set to the materials page. Okay, so you would, if you needed to change it, you could just change it and hit save. I'm going to come back to my course though. So like I said, your agenda would either be here as the first item on the page, or it's going to be inside of the folder so that students can see what's happening. Whether you choose to create a new agenda slideshow each week or whether you want to continue is completely up to you. I could have an agenda slideshow, for an entire unit. So I could have had, a slide in here for every day for an entire unit or every day for an entire quarter. However you choose to organize yours is completely up to you. If I were doing an extended agenda, meaning one for an entire unit or an entire quarter, I would just need to embed this agenda slide at the top of each week throughout that unit or each week throughout that quarter. So that's completely up to you as to how you want to organize that. So jumping back to my main page, I told you that we had a few folders that I was going to jump back to, specifically the units. So when January 18th through the 21st is done, this week is over, what I would be doing is I would be expanding my future weeks. Oh, excuse me, not future weeks, previous weeks. And I would just simply be moving that folder into the previous weeks wherever I want it to be. Okay, so inside of there then, perhaps when this quarter is done, and I know all students have turned in that work, eventually what I might want to do, and again, this is more for the teacher's benefit than for the student's benefit. Eventually, I would like to have all of the assignments that were created in here, I want them organized back by unit for my own purposes so that when I reuse the information next year, I don't need to remember what date I did particular items. I just can go back to the unit folder. So that's why we have, that's why I had suggested using like the Unit 3 label on there for yourself, just because then what I can do is I can grab this and move it into my Unit 3 folder eventually once the students no longer need it. That one didn't land exactly where I wanted him to go. My mouse is a little tricky today. Alright, so now it's organized by unit for myself. So students don't need previous weeks once all that work is done. So for instance, at the change of quarter or at the change of semester, you could come in and reorganize things for yourself just so that, like I said, when you're reusing it the following year, you can go back to the units folder and find each of the items that you had, utilized the year before or the semester before. Okay, so it'll stay in previous weeks for a while, And then, like we said, when you feel as though students no longer need them, you can move them down into units. So we had mentioned that we do have future weeks listed. What I would do as a teacher when I'm ready to pull out the next week, the following week. So we said, the 18th through the 21st is over, so I could expand the third quarter folder and I can pull out January 24th through the 28th. Again, we're always going to be putting that up at the very top, and it's not published. Students can't see this yet. It's the folder you can see is kind of grayed out a little bit. So the only other thing that you need to do is when you're ready for students to see it, and I always have to refresh this before you have the option to publish it, sorry, is to come here and to then make sure that you publish that folder when you're ready for students to actually see it. Okay, so that's just kind of a quick little tour as to how this template is going to work for our secondary students. And like I had mentioned, we'll be doing a separate video that'll show you how to pull in the template and how to embed those agenda slides for your students. But let us know if you want some ideas for agenda slides, or if you'd like someone to work with you on setting up your Schoology pages in any way. Anything that you need help with, of course, just reach out and let us know.